Subtext Discourse, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of the art world with unique individuals involved in the field. I'm your host, Michael Dooney, owner and director of Berlin-based Gallery for Contemporary Art, Jonas Spenden. My guest today is Maya Anna, the chief curator of International Photography Festival, Photo Israel. We spoke earlier this week prior to the opening of the festival about the changes that have been made in light of the COVID-19 restrictions and the online program of lectures and presentations they have developed as a result. If you're listening to this episode today, the 13th of November, you can still register for the online talks which will be taking place over the next weeks. But without further delay, I hope you enjoy my conversation with Maya Anna. Before we talk about this year's edition, how long have you been with Photo Israel?
Well, I've been involved with the festival, I think, from 2012. I've been curating a major international exhibition each year. I started out with photography from South Korea, and then from the States, and then from the UK. And then after all this time, I've also been part of the festival's artistic community over the years. And then 3 years ago, I joined in full-time as chief curator.
Yeah, if I understand correct, you've been in the cultural sector for over 15 years. You used to work for ArtLink, and then you were the arts manager at the British Council. But is this your first purely curatorial role?
Yes, I've always been curating, both in each of the positions I had. It also included curating in one way or another, or I made sure I did. And also I curated privately. But yes, this is the first position which is actually officially all about curating. Which, is also not only curating,
Oh, exactly. It involves a lot.
Yeah.
I assume as the chief curator, you have a team?
Yes. I'm largely responsible for everything that's going on. But of course, I work with other curators, who invite me for each festival to curate. And during the month before the festival, then I also have my assistant who also curates shows, Yara, which is great. And I couldn't have done any of this without her. And we have, our whole team working together. But in the sense of content and curation, I'm also responsible to overseeing everything that is done in the festival.
Oh, okay. So it's almost like the artistic director role is also encompassed within the chief curator position.
Yeah, in a way. Our director is also artistic director. He's involved in some of the things, and especially in the main outcome of everything, concept-wise and design-wise. But the content of the actual exhibitions is my responsibility. And I think this year I've curated more than previous years because we had less involvement of exterior curators due to the situation. It was even more curation this year.
Yeah, because I read on the website that you almost had to redesign the entire festival to make it happen this time around. So in the 3 years you've been there, how big a shift was it? Even just to last year, how much has changed?
It was a very big shift because if each year, each exhibition looked differently, in photography in general, you have endless options of, how to curate, how to produce, how you want to print and sizes and material, framing, screenings, it's endless. After the phase, which was, as always, selecting the artist and the specific works and the themes, the production part was totally different. Starting out from doing everything from home, where you see me now on my computer, and having to do sketches of the exhibitions, which eventually went through graphic design, great designers that we worked with, something that we haven't done before because the exhibitions would all have to be printed out in order to fit this huge fence that we're installing on. And the material, if each year, we'd get to think of what would we print in, if photographic paper or wallpaper or what framing. And now it's all this material, which is kind of like a canvas, but it's water resistant and sun resistant. And, it's very different than what we're used to doing.
Yeah. So this year there is still a physical exhibition, but rather than it being in spaces, it's an outdoor exhibition.
Yes. It's a physical exhibition. exhibition. That's what we're so excited about. We didn't feel that the festival could all be done online. I know there are festivals who have done that, but it was very important for us to have a physical exhibition. So we have a physical exhibition like outside on a central square in Tel Aviv. It's construction. It's like a fence which is surrounding an 800-meter circle of a construction site, and it's 3 meters high. So it's like you walk around almost 1 kilometer of exhibitions, and they're all stretched over this fence. And we have 2 Polish artists, Maximilian and Magdalena Rigamonti. They both have like also a 3-dimensional element to it that we added. So, it gave us an option to play with the space, but we had to consider the weather conditions, the fact that it's outside, not guarded, very different from normal times.
Yeah, because how is the festival normally? Actually, no, I'll go back one question. Photo Israel, it reminds me a little bit of when I spoke with Angel from Photo Ireland, that it's an organisation and a festival. So you have like a year-round program, but then you also have a festival during one specific time of the year. This year, I think even the way that you've described it, that you're having the outdoor element. Who's the target audience normally for the festival? Is it mostly centered around people within Israel, or is it promoted to the region? Is it international?
I mean, it is international content-wise, the festival itself, but the audience is mainly from Israel. Unfortunately, we're not, in friendly relations with our region, something which I would have loved, and, it seems like a dream to have like a regional festival. Who knows? Now that president is changing in the US, then anything can happen. But the public that comes is mostly Israelis. It's professionals and also just a wide audience. It's important for us to create an event that speaks to everyone. It has high art in it, but it's also for families and, really people all over the country. And we also have guests from all over the world, like the artists, different speakers and curators, which this year we couldn't, which is another difference. But that is why we have a very rich online program this year, to go side by side with the physical festival.
Yeah, do you think that will help the international exposure of the festival?
Yeah, exactly, because usually, most of our online visitors are the people taking part in the festival. And this year, everyone can join. Most of our sessions are international and in English. And also it enables us to host people who are not part of the program itself, like the exhibitions. For instance, Martin Parr, which we're very happy to have her as our, first speaker or guest of honor. Also, all the other great artists that are exhibiting, usually not everyone can come. This year, everyone can join in online. So it has its benefits. Yeah, we'll see how it works.
The festival's built around a theme, you were saying, and this year is transformations. But you've selected this prior to Corona. Yeah,
so it's amazing. Yeah. So we did select it like a year ago, and it seems like we're all prophets or something because it couldn't fit better. But yeah, we have a theme each year, and it goes that we have the open call and the theme to the festival. And this year, when the open call was out, Corona wasn't the thing yet. And then while it was out in the air, we started getting applications, and then it started and all the lockdowns, and it was amazing. First of all, that people kept on sending materials while, we were all in this anxiety, not knowing what was going on. People sent works, and most of the works were not Corona related.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's very good. And I'm also glad that's the way the festival is going to be. So it seems to encourage us to see that there's normality is, continuing in a way. And it's also important to note that, artists have things to say that don't necessarily have to do with Corona.
Yeah, with what's happening right now.
Exactly, yeah.
So the entire festival is curated through an open call?
No. So there is one open call. We get hundreds of submissions yearly. This is actually something that started when I started. You asked me before what changes were after I joined. So this is one of them. Before we would approach artists, and this open call, first of all, enabled, everyone to apply.
Because it's anonymous, isn't it?
Yeah, it's anonymous, and it made us find so many great artists that we weren't aware of. And then what we have is like the central exhibition, this theme exhibition, which is all the open call winners, which are 20 artists each year. And then around this theme, we have other exhibitions. We have cooperations with many embassies and cultural institutions from all over the world.
So you have the main open call, which is the international one, and that brings the artists together. And I noticed looking through the program that you do work together with a lot of embassies and international cultural institutes. How do you select the work then?
We are both involved and aware of what's going on. I think, it goes usually like when I know I have a partnership with an embassy, then they're very open to hearing our suggestions. And then I will just propose an artist from the specific country which I want to show. Luckily this year, many of the artists I have dreamed of showing are with us this year, so it's very exciting. Sometimes the embassy would have an artist they want to show, but they would ask us what we think, and it's like a dialogue. But we're very happy for this opportunity, and I know that we are the only cultural event in Israel showing so much international photographers.
You said this year there was a lot of artists that you dreamed of showing, and then you've been able to this time. So who were you really looking forward to presenting?
Well, so I can name like 3 that I've been following over the years and are showing this year. I'm very happy. One of them is Jonas Spenden from Norway. He's a Magnum photographer. He's very known. He has a project called The Last Testament, which is of 7 people around the world who think they are the reincarnation of Jesus. It's a fascinating project, like both photographic-wise and content-wise. And, this year he was very happy to cooperate. I'm just sorry that he can't be here, but we'll have him online.
Oh, that would be good. So that's part of the online program.
Right. And another photographer is Rafal Milak from Poland.
I think I saw his work, The Winners, 6 or 7 years ago when I was at Krakow Photo Festival. It was one of the names I recognized. So what is he showing this year?
So he's done like a special installation considering the terms that we're exhibiting in the wall and everything. So he's done like a special collage from his project, The First March of Gentlemen, which he did, I think, in 2017, which is composed of different photos from archives, Polish archives of demonstrations in Poland, like in the beginning and the middle of the 20th century. And his work is all about the right to protest, which is, it's in Poland and it's like 100 years ago, but it's so relevant everywhere, both in Israel right now with everything that's going on and like people wanting to protesting against our prime minister, and both in Poland now with everything that's happening with the abortions and everywhere. So it seems so right and it looks so great. Outside, it's full of color and it's very powerful.
Yeah, they look great on the screen. Like there's lots of quite graphic elements. So on a larger scale, it would be really good.
Yeah. So it's great because we really thought about the space and then he sent something relevant. And another artist which I've been following is Dinamarcosian. She's an Armenian-American photographer and she's showing a project called 1915, which speaks about the Armenian genocide. She did this in 2015 and she was working with survivors of this genocide, all of them over 100 years old. She interviewed them. They sent her to their homeland and she came back with photographs for them and she documented the whole process. So it's a very unique and moving project. So that's just a few, of the exhibitions this year.
Yeah, I think when I saw the program as well, there are quite a lot. I suppose a lot of them are relevant to the existential crises that we feel parts of the world are in right now. Looking at previous year's editions of the festival, maybe they felt a bit lighter. Content-wise, this one does feel a lot more serious and there's quite a lot of photo documentary going deep into some of the subjects. Was that intentional?
It just happened. I think we always have this goal of showing works that tell stories that mean something. It sounds very naive, but I think we want to be a part of making some social change through what we do. And I think that in a way it just happens. The photographs we pick, and it's not only us. We have different committees, like in the Open Call and the Meitar Award, which we'll probably talk about soon. Eventually it all comes together to be something really talking about the global situation, the need for a change, the way the different photographers see it. So I'm sure it's something with the way that we're running it, and maybe this year more than ever, because we all feel the need for a change, because maybe the corona somehow made us all more aware of all the bad things that are going on, not related to corona, but I know that here it's very,
No, I think it's certainly amplified a lot of the things that we're already either aware of or they're in the back of our minds, and it's brought a lot of things definitely to the surface.
Yeah, exactly, because there is less option of hiding now and, doing our thing and shutting ourselves out from what's going on. Suddenly we're everything is in front of our faces. I know in Israel it's very much so, because everything is dysfunctional. In a way, it's all coming together, and the good artists have a way of showing it and making us realize it, and we're happy to be showing it and make people think.
The first work I think I saw that's featured in the festival was the 20 shortlisted artists from the Open Call, and I didn't see the main selection till after that. That selection, it was also quite a powerful mix of social documentary, but also quite interesting conceptual work as well. Was the work that also came through the Open Call different to previous years?
Somehow I feel it was even better this year. Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe it's also the theme of transformation that encouraged these kind of works. But yeah, there were really good works. The committee had a difficult time choosing because there were really great works, and also, I got introduced to artists I never heard of before, which were really good. And I also like that people's interpretations of the theme are so different. It could be something purely documentary, but then, as you said, it could be real conceptual work, which also goes so well with this subject. So it's really nice to see the different directions, and also see that the artists, as opposed to what many times is said about artists, they are not self-involved at all. The best works deal with stuff happening all over the world that, they're noticing, they want to change. And also, if the work is personal, there's always something very global to it.
Yeah. So you said earlier that the Open Call was something that started when you started to work at the festival. Have there been artists from previous Open Calls that you've worked with again, or that have reappeared in other editions of the festival, or that you've seen grow from their involvement?
I think it's a bit early to say, because it's only the third year. So I'm trying to think if I had someone even sometimes when we see someone that submitted to the Open Call, and then we know that we have a support for a larger exhibition, solo exhibition from another institution, then we would do this match. I mean, we had it last year with the Norwegian artist. She submitted to the Open Call, and then she had a solo exhibition last year, and I see she's really growing, and she's great. I don't even know, what follows what, but it's a very good way to get to know the artist.
I'm just thinking in terms of photographers and artists that listen to the show that are often wondering, how do I get my work out there? How can I get exposure? And it sounds like through the festival and through the Open Call, it is a good opportunity to at least get your work in front of people that are in the field that have selected it, and give it that recognition to say, these people are doing something important. And through the Open Call or through the exhibition within this festival, that can then lead to other things.
Yeah, definitely. This is definitely the case, both in the Open Call and the Meitar Award.
Mm-hmm. So the Meitar Award is a book award, isn't it?
So this year it's a publication award, but all years...
it's not normally. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's something unique that we did for this year. So this year is the 5th year of the award. So basically the award is an award for excellence in photography, supported by the Meitar Family Fund, which have been our partners all these years. The jury is worldwide professionals. We have curators from Photo Museum and directors of festivals like Photo London director, and we have Tel-Aviv Museum director and Photography Academy directors, and really worldwide renowned photographers. And it's a really great jury. And usually what happens each year is that also it's anonymous, and there are 20 finalists that are selected, and they exhibit their work in a group exhibition each year. The same year that they submit it, they will show at the festival. And then during the festival, one winner is selected, and then he gets a personal grant and a grant to exhibit a solo exhibition in next year's festival.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Yes. So this year, for instance, Gloria Oyazarbal, she's last year winner and she's exhibiting a solo exhibition. But this year, because of the corona, because this open call was launched after, the corona happened. So we decided we want to do something different. And then we had a cooperation also with Blowa Press from Poland. It's a very nice boutique publishing company. And then this year's winner will win a $20,000 worth grant for a publication of a professional photography book, which is a very exciting prize because, we wanted to do something special for this year. And again, we got some really good submissions, and I already know who the winner is. I won't tell you about that.
When is it announced?
So it's announced next Saturday, on the 14th.
Next Saturday, okay.
Yeah,
on the 14th,
yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully I'll have this on before then, so build the excitement. So it sounds like there's almost two parallel open calls that happen during the festival, the Maitar Award and the thematic open call. So how is the Maitar Award different previously?
Well, it's different, first of all, because Maitar is only photography. Our open call is very open also to having video works and installations and performance. Also, our open call is on the festival's theme, and Maitar is open, can be submitted in any theme, and what we're looking for is really excellence in photography and, a unique story. And this year it was also the ability to form a book, which is different. You can have a really good series, but it won't necessarily be a good book. And this year we were also looking for this. Yeah, sometimes, people do get confused, but they are different, and also photographers can apply for both when we have cases where photographers get accepted to both.
Yeah. Do you think you'll continue with books in the future? Is there a book component of Photo Israel? Because if I think about RAEL and I think about Unseen in other festivals, they usually have a big book part that draws its own audience. Is that also the case with Photo Israel?
So I think photography books are very important, and they're getting more recognition, I think, in the last few years, even though everything is online, etc. In photography, I think books are very, very important, and everyone is realizing it. So previously we have had small book fairs and artists signing their books, but we didn't have any large, as you said, in Unseen and also in Photo London, what they have in the Tate. And, I hope we can have something like that. Once the world is back to normal, then I think it's one of the things that we want to develop. And I think that what we've done with the Maitar this year could be a step towards this kind of development. Because I know that for me, when I go to festivals, it's one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, same. It's especially after you've had a few days of looking at exhibitions and walking around. It's always nice to have a day at the book part.
Right.
Looking through books and talking to
and then you get to
publishers.
take something home. Yeah. You get to, So I hope, we can develop to that as well.
So with Gloria's project, Woman Go Nogre.
Right.
That was a book that's being adapted for an exhibition. Is that right?
When she submitted it, it wasn't a book yet. The book just came out recently, but she submitted it to the award as her project, and it won. And I think during the last year, she had a lot of exposure also in other festivals, and she had the book come out. And it's a very unique, interesting project. She's started in Nigeria since, I think, 3 years ago. She's still working on it. It involves her photographs from archives, and also she does both street photography there and studio photography. People she photographs in different costumes. She has done a lot of research and a lot of reading, and it's a very, I think, important and profound work.
It definitely suits the book format, I think, because it does seem almost quite ethnographic, the way that she's gone into a lot of the history of how Western civilization has influenced feminism in that part of Africa. and how it sort of shifted and how it was that region maybe was more matriarchal before, and that's flipped because of the influence of Western society, which, I mean, I've obviously had no exposure to before, but reading about her involvement with it and telling the different stories, it does sound like a really great project. So it's nice to see that one included in the festival.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it is a great project, and she has a very unique way of looking at things, and it fits a book really great. But also when we were talking, we started planning the exhibition before we knew this would, everything that would happen. And when I told her we're gonna have to move to an exterior exhibition, she was totally on board, and she said she feels her works really fit this format, and she was, happy to make everything to work to do this shift, and her show looks really, really good. And she will also have an online talk during the Meitar announcement.
How will that happen? So through the Photo Israel website, people can then register for different events, so there's ones on each day of the festival? I guess how will it take place?
So we have the whole first week will be full of events. We try to have them all in 1 week, to have one concentrated week of events. We do have one or two happening later. Each evening we have 2 to 3 events, and everyone can register. It's all free, and then you get a link. And this festival this year is all free, both the exhibitions, the physical one and the lectures. Usually we do have tickets, and then we also have income from the tickets. And this year we thought we'll do it differently, and it's exciting.
Because I saw as well, I think almost every exhibition has a complementary online component. So it has a presentation or a lecture or a talk or something like that.
Yes.
There was one I thought, I want to really see this one. I think Daniel Tchetchik. I don't know how to pronounce his name. The one about the chickens.
Yeah. It is really interesting. This is also a cooperation we had with the Kappa Center in Budapest. He has this work about the special breed of chickens, which is rated for medicine purposes. I'm also really looking forward to hearing him speak about it, because I still don't understand everything, even though I've read and, curated. But yeah, it's a very unique story as well. So he's going to talk with the curator from the center. And again, it's this opportunity to talk to so many people that normally we couldn't. And showing everything online is also enabling people both in Israel, but also abroad, that can't come physically to the square to see and to hear and to be involved.
Does that mean all of the exhibitions that are taking part, they're able to view online during the time?
Yes. I mean, not fully, not everything that's outside will be in the website, but we have a lot. We will also have someone doing this virtual tour of the square, which we will have online. And in the physical exhibitions themselves, we're also involving this other way of seeing films and different projects with QR codes. So the physical element also has a digital element to it, again, to enable people to see more than we're able to show.
Has it given you the opportunity this year to try a lot of things that you've always wanted to? From a digital standpoint, if I think when I've spoke to other curators in the past, this past meaning the last few months and other festivals, there's been online things that they would like to have done, but it was just difficult to realise them. And now, because everybody's doing everything digitally and online, now is the chance to do it and to invest in these different technologies. Has that also been the case?
I'm very much a person of physical exhibitions.
No, I'm the same.
I've never had a dream of presenting stuff online, but I will say what it did enable me to, is, we do have the website this year, and the presence of the exhibitions on the website is much more, I think, extensive and professional than it was before. And again, the opportunity to talk to so many people, the fact that, now we're all, Zooming all day long, and then we realize it's much easier than we thought before. Now I can talk to, Martin Parr in 2 days, and Jonas Spenden next week, and everything's things that we didn't do before are suddenly so easy to do. So I think for me that was the change.
Yeah, I think that's been really nice. Even though we can't physically go to the places, ironically, we've been more connected to people because we can just do it over the internet. Now it's just like picking up the phone and say, well, we can just call them and have a chat rather than worrying about flying people in or arranging visas or funding and that kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, personally, I'm quite looking forward to the online program. There's a few I'm thinking I'll have to register for that one, because there's some nice presentations.
Yeah. Good. Yes, you should.
I was going to ask you, last year you had Alex Soth was one of the big speakers last year, and it was the 15th anniversary of Sleeping by the Mississippi, which also I guess is quite a seminal publication. Was that the first time his work had been presented physically in Israel?
Yes. This is definitely one of the highlights of the festival and my career. Last year I said, okay, I'm retiring, there's nothing else I want to do. But it was really exciting. Last year's theme was fantasy. So when Alex Soth came and we had exhibitions and the talk that we had, I told him, okay, this is the theme. And, my fantasy was to bring you to the festival. So he said, okay, you should get like a richer fantasy world. But yeah, it was definitely for me like a dream come true because, he's one of the greatest, and Sleeping by the Mississippi is such an important project. And I think other than like photography lovers and the academic community, people in Israel didn't really know him. So it was really great to have him over and to show works from Sleeping by the Mississippi in Israel for the first time, and to have him over, and he did a talk and a book signing. It was really a highlight of the festival. And I think also it shows that if we want something to happen, okay, we're like a relatively small festival and in a controversial country, okay, and then we just reached out and he came, and I think that's the thing that we're doing. We want to make things happen, and we're just trying, and a lot of them are actually happening.
So photoisrael.org is the website to go to. Are you doing a lot of things on social media as well, or is it mostly just through the website?
The social media, Facebook, Instagram, with the website together, it's all showing what we're doing. We do through social media have different, for instance, this year we have Nadav Kander who's going to show and speak. For his lecture, he had an idea. Instead of doing his regular talk about his works, then why don't we do this thing that he would build his lecture on what people are asking? Like not only the Q&A at the end, but actually build a whole lecture around it. So we had a call through Instagram and Facebook. What do you want to ask Nadav Kander? And then we'll pick the best questions and we'll send it to him like now, which is a week before his exhibition. And then he will build the lecture, and then he'll build a whole lecture around these questions. So I think this is something that we're using social media for, which can be interesting.
No, that's really good. Because I've often felt sometimes that social media, for better or worse, can often feel more like a broadcast platform than an actual social interaction or where you can actually have an exchange with people. So it's good to hear that you managed to use it as a way to gather information and then I guess present the information back to people through his exhibition or his presentation that's taking place next week.
Yeah.
If I understand right, he's also debuting new work, isn't he? Or he's presenting work for the first time, or brand new work at the festival?
Yes. Yeah, so he's presenting 2 works, very large-scale works, from a project that he did around the corona and the lockdown. He wrote a very nice statement about it, which is also on our website. And I think its look is very different than his other works. I think content-wise, it deals with the same issues and has the same kind of quiet, I don't know, even meditative quality to it. But it's very different, and it's exciting to have him, show this on our festival and talk about it. And I've actually showed his works in a group exhibition 4 years ago in the festival, and I'm glad to, still be in touch with him and have him involved. So,
wow, it's really exciting. So you got 2 more days, or it starts in 2 days?
Yes. Yeah, it feels different this year. We're always... It feels very different because it will be a different kind of festival. But again, I think it's very exciting to be doing something physical.
Yeah, I was just thinking that actually the kind of nerves before an opening are different because you're not in the physical space. You're preparing things online, but it's still the same kind of emotional response to getting something ready to to open?
No, so actually the past week was the first time that we were in the physical space. Mm-hmm. And we were all like we were outside installing, and it was like, it felt like such, an exciting social activity. Suddenly we were sitting down, like having coffee together. We haven't done this for a month. Of course, outside and, far away from each other and with masks and everything. But people are still, we were sending out invitations for the opening, and we said, okay, it's open all these days. There's an opening online event. And people still don't get it. Like, they think there is an actual opening outside. They say, okay, I'll see you Monday evening. And I'm saying, no, there is no opening. We can't have an opening. But, come to the square. But, people are thirsty for culture.
Oh, good. Well, I hope that it all goes well on Monday in the digital space at the opening.
Yeah.
But yeah, throughout the week as well.
Yeah, it's nice that it's happening. It's a month of preparations and seeing all this work from the computer come outside and go online, and it's fun. It's worth it.
The show's actually traveling around Israel, is that right? Like, it's going to different locations?
Yeah. So it's the first time that we have this plan to go around Israel, to the periphery. Mm-hmm. Most of the culture is in the center. It's in Tel Aviv, a bit in Jerusalem, but there's like the north and south, which don't have a lot of spaces for this. And this is our plan, to travel throughout the year. The exhibitions, we can't say which locations yet, because it's all in a work process, but it is definitely going to happen, and it's also very exciting. And I think it's also something that this year enabled us to do, like, think differently.
I hope you enjoyed learning about the festival and Maya Anna's role as Chief Curator. I've listed in the show notes the various topics that we spoke about, but otherwise just visit photoisrael.org to check the program of exhibitions and online events that will be taking place between now and the 21st of November. In other news, I've recently taken on the role of podcast producer for a recently launched podcast, The Meaningful Life with Andrew G. Marshall, which explores relationships, mental health, and what makes our lives meaningful. It's available on all major podcast platforms, so I recommend checking it out. Thanks again for tuning in. My name's Michael Dooney, and you've been listening to Subtext and Discourse.